Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about how you can stop using CFOP pairs in block building methods like Roux and Petrus. This seems to be something that I see that beginners wonder about a lot when they're switching over from CFOP to Roux or Petrus, or ZZ, of course, because you know they're used to CFOP and they have CFOP habits and they're wondering how they can break them. So of course I had this problem when I switched over to Roux, and I just kind of want to tell you how some of the things that helped me get over it, and how I even feel that I was able to use my CFOP knowledge to my advantage. You know, so it wasn't just bad habits from CFOP. So I'm going to try and talk about the Roux method first. And I'm going to talk about a second block, because I think it's a bit more tempting to do F2L pairs there. So if you're starting with Roux, probably a lot of you, and you're coming from a CFOP background, and probably a lot of your solves will be, you make a block, and then you just insert the edge there, and then you do an F2L pair, then you do another F2L pair. So that's actually not always bad. So a lot of the time you will end up doing that, even as a Roux solver. The only thing you have to remember is that there are other ways to solve the second block as well. And really what it comes down to is that you don't have to put down this edge. You can put down a different edge, right? So this edge is the one that's supposed to go here, and you can actually put this down instead. And right, so in the end you're going to be making the block of these colors, right? You're going to be making the block that has red, green, yellow, and blue. And you can see that you're going to need the yellow red edge, and here you're going to need yellow, red, blue there. So okay, so you're going to need these two pieces, and you're going to need to put them there. And this is actually kind of like putting a F2L pair into here. So if you imagine that you're a blue cross solver, okay? So you solve on blue cross. You see, this is actually the same case. You have a red blue cross here, and then you have the exact same F2L case here. So here you would solve the F2L case like that, if you can recognize that F2L case color neutral. And I think it would help if you would be able to recognize some CFOP pairs color neutral. So you're gonna put these here, and it's actually kind of like the first approach of putting down an edge and then putting a pair here, except you're kind of doing it sort of color neutral. So you can just put this pair down in here, and then your block is here, and you put it into the correct position, and now you finish off your last pair just sort of like CFOP, because you do that anyway. So that's actually really just how what it means to not always do CFOP block building. Basically it means you do like you solve this, then this, then this, instead of this. And when you solve like that, it is actually like solving an F2L pair. You solve a different edge, and then you solve you solve a pair as if you're color neutral, and then you solve the last pair. And that's kind of what helped me realize what I needed to do when I was trying to learn block building. Now, one useful thing about that is Well, one thing you have to, having learned that, there's one thing that you need to be aware of, which is that when you learn a block building trick, you need to be able to, use it to, you need to be able to kind of know how to recognize it in different situations. So here's a block building trick, okay, and it's quite easy to learn. No, it's quite important to learn block building tricks. And there are several ways you can learn them. You can learn them from example solve videos on YouTube. So just search something like Roux example solves. You can learn them through experimentation, which is quite an important part of learning to block build. And there are also websites like the block trainer, which I'll link in the description. So here's a block building trick, right? So here's just a case that you might not see the solution immediately. There's you would probably usually solve like this, but there's actually a better way, and that way is wide r u2 wide r prime u r u prime, or that was wide r u prime wide r prime. So that's just a little trick that you might use, that you might learn in a example solve video, you might find through experimentation, and so on. So you learn this block building trick, and you learn how to recognize, but you have to know that you can actually recognize, a block building trick can come up in different ways. Okay. Okay. So here we have 3 pieces that will form a block. Okay, so how are we going to make a block out of these 3 pieces, right? So let's say we can't make any other block. We have to make these 3. Now, if we look at these 2 cases, there is actually a similarity. Okay, so if you look at these 2 colors, are the same, and then these 2 colors are the same, and oh, that's the main thing really. And these 2 colors are also the same, and these 2 colors are also the same. So they're actually the same case. So this is just this case as kind of like as if you were solving on a blue block or a blue cross, and you can actually solve it using the same algo I showed you. So wide r prime u2 r wide r prime u wide r u prime wide r prime, and you get a block here, and then this block goes to the back. So different cases might look the same because of kind of a color neutral sort of thing. So when you learn a block building trick or something from example solves, experimentation, or the block trainer website, you should really try and milk it for its worth. Try and you can get 2 in 1 a lot of the time. The same goes for a method like Petrus. So let's just show a case. So here's a block building trick. So I have a 2x2 already solved. Then I have a block here, and I have a flipped edge here. And the trick is you go like this, and that solves the block. So r u r prime f. So I mean, this is quite useful because it allows you to deal with cases where there's a flipped edge efficiently sometimes. Okay. However, you can get a so you learn to recognize that case, but there's a similar case here. and it looks a bit different, but it's the same case, because you know you have a flipped edge here and you have a pair here, and you can solve this case. You have to mirror it this time. You can solve it like that. And if you wanna if you wanna be smart about it, you can also do it like this. So that's one way, one useful thing with block building. You can get, you know, 2 in 1 a lot of the time. Right, with Roux, I think it's important to say that besides all of this, it's important that you never rotate in Roux, and you very rarely do F moves, and I would recommend staying away from F moves if you're a beginner. Because they can be a crutch. When you're faster, you realize there are certain cases where F moves might be faster. So no F moves, and the idea with Roux usually is that is that if you have an edge that can't be placed using R and U moves, you see this case you can't place it in this position using just R and U moves. You know, if you place it in this position, it's flipped, right? So if you have an edge that can't be placed into this position, then you do an M or M prime move. So it has to be a quarter turn of the M layer, and of course your edge has to be on the M layer. So here now, when you do that, it becomes solvable using just R and U moves. So here, this can be solved using R and U moves. So that's one thing to note about Roux. It doesn't necessarily apply to other methods. Now, with ZZ, it's quite similar as well. The block building is sort of similar to Roux, except there's no M there. But yeah, it's the same idea. You know, you can put down a different edge instead, and then you can pretend you're solving like a green cross. And now here we have I recognize this is a pair. If this would be a F2L pair if I was solving green cross, and I could insert it into this slot, this kind of fake slot, and then I get a block. So that's how you can solve a block without solving, you know, the cross edge first. And now after you do the first square, the second one is usually you just do it like a F2L. So here, yeah, so you know you probably both ways are good, but you can put down this edge instead, and then you pretend you're solving green cross, and you try and recognize, you know, what would this case be if I was solving green cross, and it's this case, and then you know there you go, you know, you solved a block without putting down the cross edge first. I don't know if there's anything else I want to say. Let me think. Yeah, I think that's it really. That's all I want to say. So that's what kind of helped me get out of my CFOP habits. And well, actually, yeah, I suppose I want to say that I actually found knowing CFOP made Petrus a lot easier for me, because like I was actually able to use it to my advantage. I see some people say, you know, oh, I wish I never learned CFOP because, you know, I got the algorithmic method ingrained in my head. But I don't think that has to be true. I think it depends on your attitude, because you can, a lot of the time you can use CFOP in Petrus to great effect. So like here's a case, right? I want to expand to 2 by 2 by 3, and I want to build this block. And I have this case, and it looks, you know, pretty weird. I don't know how I would solve it, you know, but actually, if you realize, you know, pretend this is the cross edge, and then this is an F2L pair. That F2L pair is this F2L pair, except with orange cross. So this I would solve like, I'll solve like that, and this I can solve the same way. And I get a block, and I put it like that. Like I think it would have been harder for me to figure out this kind of case if I didn't know CFOP. So don't look at, you know, don't say that, you know, oh, I learned CFOP, so I can't do block building methods. I don't think that's a great attitude. I think any more information you know about the cube, the more you know, the better. You can always use your information to your advantage, and like if you're thinking, you know, I just automatically use, if you're thinking, oh no, the problem is that when I see a case, I just, because of muscle memory, I automatically do it this way instead of the other way. Well, I think with speed solving, you're always going to have to learn to unlearn algs, because you'll always learn bad algs, and then you'll find better ones, or better ones will be discovered for algs. So I think that's a problem that you will have to overcome anyway. Yeah, here's actually a nice block building trick, by the way. You can solve that block in that way. And just to make my point, this is actually the same case, except from a different sort of color neutrality. So if you ignore, so just these 3 pieces, and I think I'm able to solve with the same moves. I think it might have been mirrored, but so yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say in this video. I hope you found this helpful. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and thanks for watching.